Just so you did.
Then you can go for it.
That's nice. I think you need some of these conversations.
Bro, this one.
Your kind. Yeah. You know, my kids are away with their grandmother at the moment, which is awesome, bro. I can't say. It's like you was, those early days of marriage when you it's just the two of you. So that's what it feels like right now. So that's kind of
Can't
where
relate.
we're at.
I can't relate to the early days. I can't relate to it because my son was a honeymoon baby. Yeah.
Konje.
He was a honeymoon baby.
Konje, boy. Yo, striker, boy. Striker.
You know what?
Ronaldo, Messi.
You know what my father-in-law said at our wedding? He's like, what did he say again? Man, he called it something, man. Damn, I forgot. But anyway, he was of the notion of, listen, you must score.
Yeah.
You must
score.
You
scored. You scored. I think they should have given the Ballon d'Or to you that year because Golden Boot, bro. On honeymoon.
Yeah, I mean,
honeymoon,
like,
bro. Did to keeper? What if there was a keeper? The keeper was.
Bro. Yeah. Anyway, that's I don't know if it's a story
so,
for another day.
So, bro, you actually never had then, like.
I had 9 months.
Yeah, but like 9 months, Your wife was like preggers, Mpo was preggers and that. So it's not the same.
Yeah, sure. So I don't really know the early days with I don't know what it feels like or looks like to not be a parent until they're gone, obviously.
Yeah.
But just like obviously I didn't have the like traveling around the world time and like doing whatever wild ish that you can do over the time. I don't have any regrets, but I'm just like, like when people share about when before their kids came and all the stuff that they got up to and stuff like that, it's like, yeah.
Really? Do you not like wonder?
Of course I wonder. Yeah, no, I definitely wonder. I think there are times when I remember we were doing like some other marriage course and we had an epiphany and we're like, we don't know how to be just us, like just married without kids.
Yeah.
The majority, like we've been married for 7 years. Our oldest kid is 6 years. So we don't have that time of just us. And like to answer your question, I do wonder. But I think at the moment it's us being very intentional now about, not now, but like over the past few years, we've been just intentional about making sure that we're not just like kick-ass parents, but like we're still good spouses to each other.
Got you.
So it's like, it's being aware that, this is the reality, that's where we are, but it doesn't mean that, all else fails.
Yeah. So it does not get awkward between you and your wife when the kids are gone?
No, it doesn't. It actually, even now, like we're finding each other. I think if I could say it like that, like when they're gone, it's like, okay, fine, let's catch up on our sleep a little bit and then let's see what we're going to get up to. And then like, okay, fine, we're going to go out to all the restaurants that we want to go to. We want to go watch some live performances. I think like as we go, like we're playing catch up. I think that's a bit of the reality at the moment. It's like we're catching up to our friendship. We're catching up to each other as and when we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like crazy.
Wait. How long was it before you had kids?
We had kids in our 3rd year of marriage. So we got pregnant at the end of the 2nd year of marriage. and then we had a in the third year of marriage. So it was still, I guess it was still early-ish.
Yeah.
I think according to, I guess, normal or like average standards.
Yeah.
But at least we did get, we did get time to, together where it was just the two
Do you
of us.
feel like it made the difference when you had kids?
Well, I guess I wouldn't really know because we haven't done it any other way. But I think, there's that freedom, I guess, that we experienced. It sounds wrong when you say freedom because it makes it sound like when you have kids you're not free. But I guess you understand the context is that there are things that we had liberty to do before having kids, and so at least we experienced that. Like just getting to being able to make decisions, financial decisions that just revolve around you, not having to think about the future and someone else's future, and things like that. And just being able to go out, be out, and do things as well, and without having to think of kids. And so even at that particular time, I think we were one of the first couples in our kind of friendship circle to have a kid. And so everyone before that, we'd just hang out. Hey guys, let's have a hangout.
Yes.
Now you have to think, let's have a hangout. Are you bringing kids? Or, is it an event for kids? Is it, so now you have to think of kids. And then with kids, now you have to think about what do they need, what are they going to eat? If you're going to leave them at home, now you think it's not just leaving them at home. There needs to be food for them at home. There needs to be someone to care for them. And so...
and you know what? That's reminding me of, I think, something that really agitated me, like leading up to getting married, leading up to deciding about kids and all of that stuff. I remember like at that time, like there was just people just not wanting to have kids. And just listening to some of the reasons, just like, either I just flat out don't want a kid, or like kids are just a burden, or kids like hamper on your dreams, or like just having kids just rocks your life altogether, and like it's just gonna be, you're just not gonna live the life that you want.
Kids just became, it almost felt like there was that where kids, and even now I think people just see kids as like a budget item.
Yes.
First thing I think when people talk
money.
about kids, like, money, kids are expensive.
Like, and I think that it's not that it moved me to want to have kids, but it really just, it unsettled me. Like I was just like, you maneuver through life and you can still find a way to do the things that you love. It just might not look the same. It just might not be at the exact time that you want it to happen. Things happen at a maybe slower rate. Things happen at a more conscious level. Like you're not gonna be just haphazard. I'm gonna decide I'm up and I'm moving to London today. Like you have to think twice about that decision and what the implications, but the decision is still the same. So I mean, that was a big thing for me with kids at the time. So I think, it still hits home when I think about it, because the time and the era hasn't changed. People still feel like, I don't think I want to have kids. And when you ask the reason, it's like, I just don't want them.
Yeah.
At all. Like like a slight tone of like demonizing the aspect of having kids in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes maybe it's people just have bad experiences with kids, or maybe their friends have, something like that. Yeah. But anyway, it's also okay for people not to want kids.
Yes,
also,
it is.
Also that.
Yeah, okay, shouldn't go without saying, yes, it is okay.
Yeah.
It is okay.
I'm just thinking of things, because now, like, my kids are not around, so just having, just waking up and it's just the two of you, and it's all you have to think about is just the two of you.
Bro, that feeling is amazing.
bruh. You know, and it sounds bad, but like sometimes I'm just like, man, I wish I could just hang here for a little longer.
Bruh.
You know, and just I just want to be at a space when I'm not thinking about these people. And to my kids, guys, I love you with all my heart. You mean the world to me, but this is awesome right now. You know, just less admin and yeah. So it just just stuff like that. You know, for me, it's huge, and I think it's important that if people can have it, before. Have some time together to connect, to do stuff, and just have the liberty. Let's pack a bag. Let's go to Durbs.
Yeah.
You know,
I know
what I mean?
I know you love
That thing,
backpacking stuff.
bro, that's my vibe. You know, so to be able to do that, because man, when kids are in the mix, like I remember our first trip together as a family, we went to the US. And our daughter was 11 months. She was, 11 months, bro.
I remember
and so traveling, so one, you have to take a stroller, whatever, everywhere you go.
Birth
certificates, strollers, car chairs. I think in the US, like it's compulsory. Yes, to have like a car. So all those things you kind of have to factor in.
Yeah.
So you're wanting to go shopping somewhere. There's buildings. Now you're on the train or the subway. Prem yonkinda. Now you're in the middle of a mall or whatever it is. It's just that you want to maybe go eat somewhere like wherever, and stroller. Nice stroller.
Yeah.
Bro, it's just a lot. Like, it's even just traveling, with an infant it can be stressful. They're crying on the flight. These are all things, I think sometimes people don't consider. This ear pressure is messing with their ears. They're crying. So it's just, you just never know what you're gonna get.
But like, I guess it's the anticipation, or like thinking about the joy of the moment when you're there with all of them. Like that end destination, that's like, say, besides when they're infants, like when they grow now, they're 4 or 10, and that it's still like a bit of a hassle to travel with all of them, but that experience for them is what makes it worth it. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Mind you, I haven't traveled with my kids yet.
Yes.
Like, to a distant like vacation.
Yes. And 100%, bro. But here's the thing, though, is that even in that now, because now you're thinking of someone else's experience, So already we are shot. You get married, or before you're married, langa. And then Langa marries Unati. Now Langa's thinking Unati is thinking Langa and Unati, but Langa comes second to Unati's needs.
Sure.
Someone else comes into the picture. Yeah. Now there's a Kumi in the picture. Now it's Unati and Kumi. Langa takes now he's number 3 in this thing.
Yeah.
So you keep getting like bumped back.
I get you.
I
get you.
Whereas now that is just, I guess, hanging out with my wife, my kids are away. Now I'm just thinking about my wife,
Fair, I get you.
Bro. And I guess by nature, Vele, we want to care for number one.
Yes.
And that's why that's where the challenge comes in, I guess. When more people are added to the picture, the more you get bumped up, and you become.
So now here's a question then. What would you say to childless Langa before he was a dad? Like, whether it's like leading up to having your first kid, or like contemplating having kids.
I would say, so one, I think I probably stressed a bit about having kids. And just wanting to do it right. I come from a family where we have, I've got 10 siblings, yes, 10 siblings, and we come from we have different mothers,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And somewhat different upbringings as well because of the different situations. So
Sure.
some were raised by my grandmother, some, with my father, some, some of us were raised with my mother, so it's like all over the place kind of thing. And so I remember growing up in that kind of environment, not that it was horrible or anything, but I just remember thinking, man, you know what, like when I have a family, I would like it to be one mother, one father, and that we stay together and we build a family like that. And that was really my desire. And so, and then also just thinking around, like, man, I just want to be a good father. I don't want to screw my kids up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So all that kind of stuff. And then, start to people think about money, think about where we'll live, how we'll raise, what schools they'll go to, all these things that kind of bump around your head, around how you would want to, bring your kids up and that kind of thing. And so I think a thing I did say to myself, so I would still say that, the same thing to myself. I said that, like live your life.
Yeah.
Enjoy not having
Sure.
kids, like maximize, get to know.
But you did.
Your wife. Yes, I did. And so that's, again, I would say the same thing.
Okay, I get you.
So just to live, do stuff together, take risks together.
Yeah.
And also consider that the more responsibility you take on, the less risk
You can't take.
you're willing. Yeah,
Sure.
It's just how it is. You know. So when you're single, it's okay to make a poor financial decision. Udle amaqanda nesingo.
And
That
this is
kind
and
of
your wife, and
24/7.
you know what you got to suffer into.
Yeah. By the way, my wife, we never ate. But you get what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I get you.
Because they think about it, but you're proud, Lisa.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Next thing, I'm getting calls from in-laws and whatever.
Yeah.
But you're willing at least to take that risk because it's you're going to be carrying kind of the burden of that or the weight of that risk, And so the more you take on, the less you're willing to kind of risk. So I just say, bro, just go, you and your wife, just do things. Just do random things.
Yeah.
Like I wish we had done like something I've always wanted to do is like travel across the continent. So get on a bus somewhere and just, so if the two of you, like just hitchhike, not hitchhike, sorry. I'm not big on hitchhike, but like a backpack, that kind of vibe.
I get you.
So you can do that with just the two. But can you imagine now, and then get as black people, it's judgmental. So can you imagine, say, bus station or whatever it is, oh no, we're on holiday or we're just backpacking. What's we happy and gone? So and like kind of, and especially as black folk, we're very kind of opinionated around what people should do when they have kids. People don't shut up about that. People, you don't know them. They'll tell you your business.
Yes.
They'll tell you how you should be holding your child, how you should be.
Speak to them, do everything.
Zonke lezo zinto. And so one is just that. I think just go all out.
Yeah.
And then secondly is just like, you know what? Like don't stress about the kid thing and raising kids and stuff like that. Because, for me, I remember just reflecting like, bruh, like, dude, people with less resources than you, that are less educated than you, that have had so much less, have raised amazing kids, so onga stress, like just chill, don't worry. When the kid thing happens, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's making me think a little bit. I think when I'm backtracking to childless me, and I'm like, my biggest worry at the time was definitely, I don't know if I'll have the capacity. Like, because at the time I was like, leading up to my first kid, I had a startup business in the creative industry. It was not, and this was like 8 years ago. And this was just still tilling the soil and just trying to break in, get a foot into the door kind of time.
Yeah.
And that hustle and bustle time made me question everything about the lead up to being a dad. Because I was like, yo, am I going to have enough cash? Am I going to have enough time? Because I need to hustle, I need to push the business as well. So I think at that time, I think I would have said to myself, there's enough time if you make the time and you're not in it alone.
Yeah.
Because I think that, and this influenced a lot about what at the time, how many kids I actually wanted. Because initially I wanted just one kid. I was like, I'm done. I want one. That's it. And then my wife was like, soccer squad. and I was like, nah, I mean, like, we'll see, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
But my worry was always my capacity was, will I have enough in me mentally, emotionally, and physically to be present and provide, knowing what I'm doing currently. And things worked out. We're here, like 4 kids later, and they like the kids are rock stars. They're great, amazing kids. Wife is still great, and we made it. Like, I think a big part that changed along the way was like, I kept just trusting God that you'll see us through.
Yeah.
If kids are really a blessing, if they really are a blessing, then we'll not starve. As long as I can be diligent with what I have, and as long as I believe, I guess, that, like, God is faithful, we will be okay. And we are okay. Like, we're more than okay. Like,
Yeah.
like beyond okay. And I think I think, like, looking back, I would have said to, like, childless me, like, you're gonna be okay. Whether it's 1 kid or 4 kids, it's all the same, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I guess a good one is just that friendship. The importance of friendship between, 2 people, of just finding ways to just, be awesome. Like, be more than just lovers.
Yeah.
But be friends.
Yeah.
Where you're comfortable hanging out with each other, as with you and your wife. It's just, so when the kids are gone, you can feel like you are young again, or whatever it is, that you can just do stuff, because if that's not there, then when kids leave or kids are out the picture, then
bro,
it becomes an issue.
That I've seen recently. I guess because, like, my parents are at the age where most of the kids, or my parents' generation, most of their kids have left the nest, right? And I've been hearing more and more of parents in my parents' generation divorcing.
Sure.
I've been hearing more about fathers that are in my parents' generation committing suicide. Why? Because that thing where my kids are my everything becomes such a blanket over issues that you're not dealing with, right? It creates this facade in your marriage that we're okay, but you're not okay if this common focus is not there.
Yeah.
Right? You get dads that feel like they were holding on in pushing through life for the sake of their kids. And then when their kids leave, and I don't have to provide for anyone, like, I don't have a sense of responsibility, like, to anything, or sense of pressure, then, like, you find, like, men in their mid-50s to 60s committing suicide.
Sure.
And, like, I've been hearing these stories more and more, and I was just like, and I think when I realized that, I then was like, I said to my wife, I'm like, dude, we need to be serious. Like, we can't let our kids be the center of our marriage. Because we, it's gonna come back to bite us later.
Yeah. No, bro, 100%. And Indo, that I've, I guess, learned in marriage with the whole dynamic of, the marriage and the children, between marriage and parenting, is that it's and again, it speaks to the importance of friendship between husband and wife, is that it's so much easier to love your kids than to love your wife. It is so much easier. Like your kids, you can just love them unconditionally. And part of it is because it's like they come from you. They're your kids.
But also, like, it's like, I guess your kids can't hurt you the same way your spouse can, or like aggravate you to that level. Like,
but it's that thing, Yoguti, they come from you, and so you just have that affinity towards them, because they're your kids, like your kid just shows up and you're like, I love you. They haven't done anything, whereas loving your wife, again, like you said, someone that can hurt you, that can do things that rub you up the wrong way, but it was also like a choice that you made to take this person as your wife or as your spouse, know. And so there is that where I found, I know there have been moments in my marriage where I have been more affectionate towards my kids, so if in some way I feel like I'm not getting affection from my wife, I would just spend more time with my kids, because there I know, to them I'm Baba, I'm, no matter what I do, I'm awesome. They always just look at me as this awesome person. So it would be like, you know what, when now you're not giving me the affection, my wife, the affection that I want. So I'll just cling on to my kids, and I find myself kind of ignoring my wife and just hanging out with my kids. And again, it just speaks to, I guess, the importance of prioritizing friendship with your wife. And I think to what you said, not making kids the center. But your marriage, your relationship with your wife, making that primary, and then
something that I started doing, like with our kids, is like we're trying to like teach them boundaries with themselves, with us. So like something that I've been doing is like when Umpo and I are going out for dinner or away or whatever, holiday or whatever, I say to them, like, they always ask, like, what about us? Like, why can't we come? Why can't we do that? And I'm like, I'm spending time with my wife, just so that they have a better picture of what marriage looks like, and it's not this warped thing that it's like it's centered around them. You get like, because I guess like what we experience traditionally as blacks is like sometimes the kids the family revolves around the kids so much that you have no like direct picture of what a marriage actually looks like when it's healthy and when it's balanced. I
think that's I think it's an important thing. It's an important thing, and it's easy to, I guess, to shift that, to shift from, hey, it's, building the marriage between you and your spouse, and then all of a sudden it just becomes about the kids.
But I guess it's like, man, it's like your kids, you just feel like you have a little bit more unconditional love to them as compared to your spouse, which is at its core, it has its own like things to it.
I mean, like, inganyako maipete, or does something or say something, stupid. It's not like a thing. It's like, ingan. Then your wife says something that's awful, whatever, you're just like,
You
know what I mean? Exactly that. It's like, I want to say that kind of thing. Or like, hey man, you're old, like, why are you thinking like this, or why are you acting like a child, or it's those, I guess it's those kind of things. But hey, it's,
you know what? Why we need to have less people think that we are rambling here. I know we'll probably have our wives part of one of our episodes because I know they also have their own things to say as well, but we're going to end it there. Like, if you enjoyed this conversation and this topic is something that you feel like your friends or family should get in on, please share it. Click the share button, copy the link, push it on WhatsApp, to your stories, whatever. And please do follow us if it's worth your time and effort. It is the 4Fathers FC on all platforms. And see you again next time. Peace.